So last night started mostly like any other streaming night. We had a gem giveaway, we had a 10x event with some viewer summons, we did pull some legendaries such as Elenaro, we even got some of the new epic champions, which is always nice, not to mention an allure. This player was quite happy, that was all his account. We had another viewer summon as well to do, which we got a couple new champions there as well, including the very sought after Sky Dutch Shaman. But no, that was not the highlight of the night. It was maybe getting a legendary, such as our favorite new one, Pixniel, although, maybe not, right? Who actually really likes Pixniel at this point? I even did some summons on my own account. I got myself a Burgoth, always wanted that, right? I mean, who doesn't want to do Burgoth? But no, the highlight of the night, guys, was not even close to being those things. It was what we found out a little bit later as we were streaming or just playing around with some champions. Plarium literally changed something right under our nose, and we caught it, and I want to share that with you guys today, as well as quickly go over how the freeze debuff was actually buffed and how it should be working. Let's jump right into today's video. So let's first start with the change that happened literally overnight, alright? And it didn't happen for apparently all the champions, but I did catch one of them, and so far I haven't seen an announcement about it, so if you guys do catch other ones, please let me know. So to give you guys some context, I need to go back about 2 weeks. I did a video called More Shards Soon, but I also sort of covered something called Fix This Here, and I showed the buff order of certain champions, and I think it is very misleading. I in fact did another video, I call this They Got This Wrong, because then they said that the order of the buffs is according to the icons, and so what you see above the health bars of the champions when it is applied should be correct, but it wasn't. And I used H-Octo and Darn to showcase that, but today I'm going to show you guys that some of them have been fixed, but other ones apparently have not been changed so far. So I don't know if they're going to do this overall, but I still want to caution you in case you think you're going to get something different than what you actually are going to get. All right, so the problem was that, let's say for example Mausoleum Mage, we used to see block debuffs first on the description, all right? So reading the text here, block debuffs, then increase crit rate, increase defense, and a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn. Now if you read it, and I'm not going crazy, this has changed. It says increase crit rate, increase defense, and then a block debuffs, right? And I have the proof for you guys. I can literally show you right here, all right? So this is what it used to be a day ago. Like a day ago, literally, they've swapped the description on us. But pay attention, the order of the icons have not changed, all right? So when I apply this skill, I should still get increased crit rate, increased defense, and then block debuffs, which is exactly what we see right here. Fair enough. So then I look at the other champions, including our H-Octo and Darn, which we typically saw block debuffs and strengthen. We also saw block debuffs and strengthen on the icons at the bottom, okay? And if we look here at the previous picture of our H-Octo and Darn, this is exactly what we had before. So this has not changed. But in the video, what I show you guys that when you apply this, you are in fact going to get the strengthen buff first, and then you're going to see the block debuff. What this means is that this champion, H-Octo and Daring, is applying block debuffs first. So that would prevent you against a Torment, which is the big problem right now in my next point, the freeze debuff. It would prevent you from getting frozen on the second part of the buff. And the way that works, okay, so for the freeze debuff that was buffed, listen closely. From what I understand, it is only the champion casting the buffs that is affected by this. So if a Torment would be here right now on the enemy team, and I would go with Lydia applying a strengthen buff and increase speed, if she gets frozen on the first part of it, so the strengthen buff, and then she's not going to apply the increased speed, I assume, on the whole team. But if, let's say, H-Octo and Darn gets frozen after getting the first part of the buff, strengthen, and he is still going to get the increased speed buff. At first, I thought it wasn't working correctly, but guys in the chat on stream last night said that is how I think it is supposed to work. It is only the champion casting those buffs affected by this. So if we go back to a champion like Mausoleum Mage, now he's a big problem in the sense that you are taking the risk of triggering Torment 2 times before you get to your block debuffs, all right? So all of a sudden, because they buffed that debuff, this is almost a don't use champion against Torments, okay? So I think it's a good move to get the freeze debuff to work correctly, but I think in a sense now it is making some champions maybe a little bit too powerful, including our so-called Torments, mainly because of how his passive works, right? It also works, if I'm not mistaken, on turn meter increased attack, so Arbiters are at risk as well. So what you would want from your Arbiter now is not only for her to be speedy, but also to have a lot of resistance, or therefore you're going to turn meter boost, and then you're going to get hit by the freeze, and you're not going to get the increased attack on your other champions, therefore rendering her a little bit useless. So if you can afford to do an immunity set Arbiter with like 350 plus speed, go for it. If you cannot, then I suggest you try and build a lot of resistance on her. So I got mine up to 333. This is mostly for the Doom Tower, but obviously now it is going to serve me well for the arena. So I've been running Arbiter like this for a while. It kind of just happened that way. And so because the freeze debuff is more dangerous, guys, just be careful with that, all right? Torments are a little bit more dangerous because of this, but also the order of the buffs, it has changed on description for at least one champion so far. It is Muscly Mage. They literally just switched around these two sentences, all right? So that's the only one I've noticed so far. I'm not going crazy. The guys in the chat saw it as well. So if you spot any other ones, like Sifi comes to mind, but I think her description is still pretty much the same. So if I'm not mistaken, you would still see the wrong order of the buffs being applied, even though it says block debuffs here, increase defense and increase speed. When she puts them on, if you're seeing increase speed first, you are getting the block debuffs first. It's really important you guys understand this to now counter the more dangerous freeze debuff. Okay, so that is what I wanted to cover here with you guys today. And a little bit of a change that happened sort of like, you know, like I said, right under her nose. They didn't really say anything. Maybe there is more to come, but that is how you can counter the new freeze debuff. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.